Hello everyone, welcome to LovegLew Creations, where we create and design for your inspiration. I'm Felicia. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's wreath. Alright, so today's inspiration comes from this cute little nutcracker that I have here. This design I created based off of the focal point of our nutcracker, and he is silver and black and white, and I thought, how cute is this one to create this design? And I embellished it with black and white and silver ornaments and so forth. So I think he is absolutely beautiful. And we are going to create one just like this, but in a different color. All right, so we'll be right back. All right, so next we're going to talk about the ingredients that we're going to put in our wreath. So, and again, these are ingredients that we may use, may not use. I just pulled from my inventory and based off of the colors of this little nutcracker right here. This is the one that we're going to design today. He's got some gold, red, and white, green. So he's got the traditional Christmas colors. So we're gonna use a lot of that, a lot of those colors to make this wreath. So we're gonna have, of course, our 24-inch wreath base. And this little guy, he came from AtHome. All right, so they had a bunch of nutcrackers and when they first came out, so grabbed me a couple. So 24-inch wreath base, of course, that came from Hobby Lobby. We're going to use ornaments. All these ornaments came from Hobby Lobby as well. We're going to use different colors to help bring out the red, green, and gold that's in our nutcracker. We're going to use mesh, of course. We use that as our base to help add all the embellishments to the wreath. And we're going to use 3 types of ribbon, and they all have the red, green, and gold colors in them. So some of the ribbon came from different places. This came from Michael's, this came from Craftex, and this came from Michael's as well. All right, I may use this drum. I know y'all remember me using this drum for one of my other designs. I used it in my Santa wreath, and I also used it in my Santa little tower. So it was a package of 4, so I have one big giant drum and I have this little one. So we're gonna see if we're gonna use that today. We're also going to use several picks, and we're gonna use different types of picks. We're gonna use a jewel, so I have a red jewel, we're gonna add that. And then I have some red, I've used this before, some red and gold picks. And you can use any kind of picks, you guys. Again, I got these from Craftex, but you can use whatever you want, whatever color your nutcracker is. Find the colors that in your design, in your supplies that match your focal point. We're going to use this beautiful poinsettia. I love that it's red and the white outline on the petals. It's really pretty. And this is a variety of different other picks that we're going to use, may not use. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so first things first, we want to fluff out our wreath base, which I've already done. And we're going to get all the pine needles standing up. Then we want to smush it because we want it to have an elongated shape like a swag. All right, so just kind of smush it down. Try not to break it. I've heard that you can break them. So that's perfect, perfecto. So we have now an oval shape for our wreath base. Make sure we get all the pines spread out as I stated, and that doesn't take a lot of time. Just get them all spread out, and then we're going to add our mesh. Now our mesh is our platform to add our embellishments. So we're just going to roll the ends, cinch it together in the center, just like that, and then use the ties in the pine base to tie on your mesh. Now I have how I cut my mesh in my previous tutorial. So each mesh strip is about 15 inches, and we just cut it with our rotary cutter on our board, and you can knock out about 10 to 15 pieces, which is pretty much what we would use to cover our base. So we can go ahead and start adding our embellishment. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that, and we'll be right back. So now we have our mesh applied, but I did something different this time. So you know how we have the mesh, when you apply it sticks out like this? So what I did is, you can see that it's kind of pushed in, and what I've done was, I wanted to show you, I took an end of it and I made it like a little bubble, and then I used the ties in the pine base to just tie those down a little bit more so they don't stick up, and it kind of helps set it all flatter and allows us to have more of a base to attach our embellishments. So pretty much what we're creating with the mesh is ability to glue on our attachments within our wreath, and it helps hold those embellishments a lot better. So now we're gonna add this guy, our nutcracker. All right, and we're just gonna glue him right on, and that's why we have this mesh, specifically for the ability to glue on our embellishments. So I got him centered perfectly. Let's fix his cloak. Make sure it sits perfectly within our wreath, and let's go ahead and get him glued on. All right, so I'm going to glue him here at the bottom, and I'm going to glue him right here on his crown. All right, and then we'll see if we need to glue anything else. I just don't want to glue his cloak because it's really not going to matter if we glue his cloak. We want to glue areas that are solid and won't cause our nutcracker to move around. All right, so let's go ahead and get him glued on. And again, you want to be generous with your glue. Let's do the bottom. So we're gonna do the bottom as well, right on the stand. Make sure he's centered. And just like I did in my other tutorial when I added those large ornaments, I glued them straight on to our base because we had the mesh. All right, so let's give them a second to set, a couple seconds before we go any further. All right, so next what I've done is I started applying my red picks around the outer edge of the wreath. And so I want to show you all how I cut my picks. So this pick is pretty awesome because it has more than one pick on it, and I know I've mentioned this in several of my tutorials, but it's always good to find a pick where you can have multiple picks within. So this one has multiple picks within, and so I'm just going to cut the picks, and there's another one, so you have 1 and 2. All right, so what I did was I'm cutting them so I can add them around the perimeter of my wreath, so that kind of gives it more of a broadened look, and adds more sparkle to the wreath. And I don't glue them in until I know where I'm positioning them. All right, so getting them in there where I want them. I'll have to cut this down a little bit, it's too long. And we just position them all the way around the perimeter of the wreath. So we're going to cut another one. All right, I'm going to continue all the way around. Now, when I get to the top and the ends of my wreath, I'm going to add a longer stem, so that way it elongates it from top to bottom. So it'll be longer top to bottom based on the picks that I'm adding. Okay, so let's cut some more. of that. All right, so I have evenly distributed my picks all the way around the perimeter of my base. And the extra ones that I have that are longer, I ended up with 2 extra. I have no more of these, so that turned out perfectly. So I'm just gonna add it to the top and to the bottom and cut the end just a little bit because I want the full length of this to help, like I said, elongate the top and the bottom of my wreath. All right, so let's cut it down just a little bit. So here we go. Cut it, and let's get that maybe put in there. Just take these ends off because they're in the way. All right, feel free to do what you need to do to your pick. All right. All right, so there's the top, and I'm gonna do the same for the bottom. Sides, and we have a perfect length, and get it right through the bottom. There we go. So now you can see he's perfectly framed with the red picks. The sparkly red, glittery picks. All right, so you'll see how he's looking. Once I get him glued in, I'll hold it up a little bit and show you all. All right, here is what we have so far. As you can see, he has been embellished with all the pretty red sparkly picks on the perimeter of the base. So it helps bring out this beautiful red in his cloak. And now we're going to work on putting the bows on. I'm going to put a bow right here, cat a quarter to the top, and one right at the bottom of his feet. All right, so I'm going to make the bow. And we're going to use, like I said, these 3 ribbons. So this one will be the first ribbon, second, and third. And let's get started. So when I make my bottom ribbon, it's gonna have 2 loops on each side with us, and there'll be 6-inch loops with a 8-inch tail. And my second ribbon will be 5-inch loops with a 6-inch tail. And then actually for the top, it's just gonna be 2 ribbons. The bottom ribbon will be 3, okay? So on the bottom, we'll use the same ribbon, the same measurements for the bottom and the top ribbon, and then this will be the center at the bottom, and this will be 4 inches loops with 4-inch tails. And if you see my other tutorials, you'll be able to see how I make the ribbon using my trusty, easy bow maker. And I always use this. A lot of people make their ribbons by hand. You can do that as well. This just helps me measure everything and make sure it's even on both sides. I love my bow maker. I also have it listed in my description below. So let's go ahead and get started on making the bows, and we'll be right back. All right, so now I've created my bows for the top and the bottom, and my bottom bow has 3 ribbons where my top bow only has 2. And I wanted to point out something that I'm doing differently, and usually, from those of you who know and have watched me, I always add a center ribbon to the center of the bow where the zip tie is, but this time I'm not going to do that because I'm going to put a ornament in the center of the bow. All right, so that kind of gives it a special touch. So we don't need to add a center ribbon. We're going to cover that up with the ornament. All right, so let's go ahead and cut off our zip tie ends. And to attach these bows, I'm going to use some pipe cleaner. And we're just going to take the pipe cleaner, wrap it around. We want a tail on the pipe cleaner to make sure, because this is what's going to go through the wreath. So just wrap it around really good. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with the other one. Wrap it around enough to give it a tail. And let's go ahead and twist that up so it can hold. All right. So I want this to sit cat-a-corner on my wreath. So I'm going to take the pipe cleaner and thread it through. Pull it through. And I am going to take the pipe cleaner and just wrap it around one of the ties from the wreath base. Get it around there really good. It's not going to go anywhere. Get that on there. Done deal. And here's our bow. All right, so we'll cut the ends a little bit, but for this piece, I deliberately made it longer because I want to just add it to cascade down onto the wreath base itself, similar to the one that I created as my inspiration for this one. All right, so we'll just take a piece of the bow, cinch it, grab some of the ties, and let's see, let's grab this one and tie it around that base. All right, so how good does that look? Very pretty. We're gonna do the same with this piece and just kind of let the tail hang down, and we'll cut it into our dovetail and do the same with this one. So it adds that specialness, it adds to the beauty of the ribbon, it lets it hang down even more. All right, so let's go ahead and add it to that same tie as the other one. And I think that looks very, very pretty. How pretty is that? And we're gonna cover this up, this area right here, with the ball, with an ornament or a piece of our embellishment. All right, so let's bring the ribbon that's hiding his face. So let's go ahead and bring that around. All right. That looks wonderful. All right, we'll dovetail the ends. Here's what we have so far. Okay, so that's the top. Again, we're gonna put a bow, an ornament right there. And I wanna go ahead and add the other ribbon to our design. So our bottom ribbon is gonna go right down here, right at the foot of the design. I think that's gonna be really pretty. And we're gonna put another, we'll add an ornament to this as well. So we're gonna do the same thing, use our tail of our pipe cleaner, thread it through. All right, so, and don't be afraid, you guys, to just, you know, try different things. You know, you don't have to have a ball in between your bow. I think it just adds some beauty to the wreath and some extra just pizzazz all together. So just go crazy. If you, whatever colors you have for your focal point, pull that out. That may add the extra beauty to your design that you're looking for. Don't be afraid to use what you have. I've used these picks before. They're leftovers, and so why not use it for this wreath form? The ribbon I've had for a while from Michaels. I got some pieces from Craftex. So go ahead and just use your imagination. Use what you think works well, because when you put it all together, all those things that you add are gonna definitely stand out. It's gonna make your design so pretty, and you're gonna love it. You're gonna just go, wow, I didn't know that would work out that way. So in picking my ribbon, I had a lot of this ribbon, but look at this red. This is so pretty. I like the fact that it has these little, I guess, snowball ends, borders on it. But guess what? Guess what it matches? It matches his cloak. How cute is that, right? So then we got the red and gold metallic and greens that bring out his metallic colors in him as well, with his crown. Look at these little fluffy things on his boots. He's so cute, and he's standing on a gold stand. So we have added our reds, our golds, our greens, and we're bringing out a lot of the colors in our focal point. Again, your focal point should be, what else can I add to this wreath? What colors can I add? Don't be afraid to mix and match your ribbons. They don't have to match. You want them to be different. You want them to stand out. Okay, so let me finish dovetailing my ribbons, and we'll be right back. Next, we're gonna add some picks, some other kinds of picks, but these are gonna be fillers around our nutcracker. I'm also going to add my poinsettia. I love this. Just stands out so vibrant and with the white and the red, and it's gonna sit really, really well in the design. And I'm mimicking pretty much where I've placed everything in my other design for this design. So it made it a lot easier for me to make this one based off of that one. So this pick I'm gonna add, but what I'm going to do is take off the picks, and this is what I call just a break it apart kind of pick. So I have one stem that produces 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. It's awesome. All the picks for your design. I only needed one pick, you guys. And actually that's all I bought. Because when I looked at it, I said, perfect, that's all I need. It'll produce enough picks for my design. All right, and I'm also gonna add my red gem. How cute is that? I love the jewels. So let's go ahead and add the jewel. We're gonna glue it right on. So I have this opening right here in my design. I'm gonna glue him right there so he can stand out and be seen and sparkle as he should. We'll glue that right on. And I always say trust your glue, and I mean that. We're going to go ahead and add, I'm gonna cut this a little bit down, bend it just a little bit, so when I glue it in, it has that extra base to capture the glue. And we're gonna stick him right here on this side. Right on the outside, right there. All right, so let me go ahead and get that glued on. It looks like let's see what I can do here. Let's get this. My center is trying to come out, so I'm gonna glue those as well so they don't come out. So, get it right up in there really good. It's clear glue, you won't be able to see it, so that's perfect. How about that? Just love this. So I'm gonna bow out the petals just a little bit. So bend them just a little bit so they can sit down in there really good. All right, let's get this glued. I'm gonna glue the stem. both sides. And get it in there, nice, so it can set, ouch. And you will burn yourself if you're not careful. All right, so that's in there. All right, next I want to add my gold pieces, and I'm gonna just add those around some, like right around the perimeter in certain areas of the design. So I'm just gonna do for placement, see how that's gonna look. Because we're also gonna add some Christmas balls. All right, so just kind of give it some fillers. These are fillers pretty much. All right, so what do y'all think about my nutcracker? Isn't he cute? I love that he's colorful. I love that I was able to use these traditional colors to bring out so much more in this design. So it was just, couldn't help it. I had to say this one, too many colors, not really perfect. It was perfect for me in what I wanted to do. All right, so I'm adding these special picks just to add a little bit more gold to my design. I'm gonna go ahead and get those glued in, and we're gonna start adding the ornaments. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and add the final pieces, which is going to be our ornaments. And I'm also going to add my drum. How cute is he? And it's gonna be perfect right next to, right there on the outside of the ribbon, the streaming ribbon that I have going down. So I'm just gonna glue it on the perimeter, the bottom, and stick it right up in that perfect pocket for my drum. And I'm also, let me go ahead and add my ornaments to my bow. So we're gonna add an ornament there, in the very center of the bow. We're going to also add an ornament here at the bottom. And I'm using gold because the base is gold, and I think it kind of makes it look really pretty and blends really well there. I'm also gonna add, so we have this gap on this side of the wreath. And we're gonna embellish it with some larger gold balls, and then we'll just add a couple of green balls around as a filler. Okay everyone, so we completed our design. I'm really excited to show you, but before I show you, I posted a quick 1-minute video of me going to Craftex. So I'm always talking about Craftex, and so I thought I'd take y'all on a tour. It was a quick tour. There's so much stuff to show you. I didn't even show you where all the balls and ornaments are, but I wanted you to kind of get a look and feel my vibe when I walk into Craftex. So I hope you get a chance to watch it. It's really short, beautiful things. There's so much, I wish I could buy it all. But when you go in there, when I go in there, I go crazy. It's like going into a candy store for me. So anyway, check it out. All right, so now I want to show you all the final of our design. Check it out. How beautiful is that? All the vibrant colors coming out from our focal point, and you can see everything, how the ribbon matches, how everything that I added from the gold, the red, the green comes and just captures our nutcracker. All right, so the drum, the jewel, everything, you guys, it looks really good. I'm so proud of this one. All right, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you again to all my subscribers. And for those of you that are new, I hope you get some good information, some good tips, and get inspired to design. All right, until next time, have a great weekend.